Peter's marriage to Lois has been a mixed bag of everything, from fun to downright annoying. There have even been times he should have walked away, but he didn't. Here are 10 times Peter should have divorced Lois. Following an unfortunate accident at the aquarium, Peter decides to register at the gym.
Well, it's just that whole thing at the aquarium made me realize I'm completely out of shape. I mean, what if I run into that octopus again?
I don't think you are ever going to randomly run into an octopus in the street. Meanwhile, later that night, the Secret Service shows up at their doorstep, seeking help with President Bill Clinton's deflated tire. Instead of simply handing them a jack, Peter, who earlier that day spent about 15 minutes in the gym, chose to display his superhuman strength.
You don't need a jack. I am a jack. Come on, I'll lift that thing for you.
After an utterly unnecessary lecture on how to lift a car, Peter hurts his back and ends up in the hospital.
All right, boys, now watch how this is done. The key is to put it all in your groin and your back. Take your legs totally out of the equation. Lift with your lower back in a jerking, twisting motion.
To everyone's surprise, President Clinton comes to visit Peter at the hospital. He also offers to teach him the secret to staying young.
When you get out of here, I'm going to take you out and show you the time of your life. And by the time we're done, I promise you're going to feel like a young man again.
On discharge from the hospital, Peter starts hanging out with Bill, who introduces him to all kinds of vices, until Peter's behavior becomes a cause of concern to Lois.
What the hell did you and Bill do last night?
We lived, Lois. We lived our lives.
Peter, that former President Clinton is nothing but a bad influence. I forbid you to hang out with him anymore.
No way! Bill Clinton makes me feel young.
With Peter refusing to stop hanging out with Bill, Lois takes it upon herself to go warn him.
Mr. President, I need to have a word with you. Wow, you certainly are very persuasive.
That's not what I was expecting when she said she was going to talk to Clinton. To make things even more interesting, Peter catches them red-handed on bed together. His wife and his new best buddy, Bill Clinton. How heartbreaking could that be?
Look, I know this looks bad, and I feel horrible, and I know nothing I could say to you could possibly justify why I slept with Bill, except, Peter, the man, presided over the longest economic expansion in U.S. history, and he reduced the percentage of Americans on welfare to its lowest level in 33 years.
35 years.
35 years, Peter.
Well, that's a rather interesting resume. Enough to make you cheat on your husband. She doesn't even sound remotely remorseful about what she just did.
Lois, I think maybe it's better if I stay at Quagmire's for a while.
That might just be a good idea. During Peter and Lois's marriage anniversary, which was unsurprisingly hosted in Lois's family house, because Peter's house isn't fancy enough, Joe accidentally sees Lois naked.
Ah, Joe, I'm in here!
Sorry, I didn't realize. I'm sorry, I'm leaving!
Can we all agree that Joe's instant erection is a sign that Lois is kind of hot? The next day, Bonnie, who is unaware of what transpired between Lois and her husband, has a piece of news for Lois.
It was easily some of the best sex of our entire marriage. And for the first time in 9 years, Joe was able to achieve manhood. You know, without a pill, a shot, or a pump.
Maybe she should be thanking Lois for that miracle. Anyway, realizing the effect her body has on Joe, Lois decides to give Joe a show when she finds him watching her from his window.
Lois Griffin, you are adding spice to that marriage. Wow, look at me, making a difference for those in need.
You could look at it that way, or you can actually say the truth, which is, you're enjoying the attention. Now in the mood for something romantic, later that night, Lois tries to work her magic on Peter, but her clueless husband ruins the mood.
Actually, what do you say tonight I turn the TV off and turn you on?
What are you, drunk? And where are the wet ones? You know I need a cautionary wipe.
Great work, Peter. You are about to ruin what could be a night of bliss. But Lois isn't giving up so easily, so she tries again.
It's all right. Let's not talk about that, Let's talk about how steamy it's getting in here.
That would be a Bertucci's burp cloud with a Mr. Pibb fart cloud chaser. Hence the need for wet ones.
Since Peter isn't up for some fun, Lois decides she should keep on helping Joe with his erection. At least that's her way of contributing to a better society. But unknown to her, Joe isn't the only spectator.
Oh my God, she's putting on some kind of weird show for Joe. This is a betrayal. Peter deserves to know. He deserves to know right away.
Being the good friend that he thinks he is, Quagmire tells Peter what his wife has been up to.
I saw Lois strutting around your front yard, basically putting on a sex show for Joe, and he was into it.
What? He was? Are you sure?
Common. Joe's crippled, not a eunuch. Mad at Joe for ogling at his wife, Peter goes to his apartment to give him a piece of his mind, which ends up in Joe getting punched in the face. Done with Joe, Peter heads back home to confront Lois, but instead of apologizing to her husband, Lois blames Peter for her actions.
Now, fine, Peter. So what if I was putting on a show? At least someone was in the audience. And maybe ask yourself why I'd even feel I have to do that. I come out of the bathroom in my underwear last night, and all you want to do is look at James Cromwell.
Yep, that would definitely hurt any woman's feelings. To get back at his wife, Peter decides that the smartest thing to do would be to put on a show for the women in the neighborhood. In my opinion, that's a really petty move. Meanwhile, Lois tries to tempt Joe one more time, but after being beaten by Peter, Joe's in no mood for games.
Hey, Joe. I was wondering if you needed to borrow a cup of sugar.
No thanks, Lois. And also, that's not how the sugar thing usually works.
The fact that she still went back to tease Joe, even after the argument, is a big red flag. But that's not all. Lois takes her absurdity to the veteran hospital. Dressed as a sexy nurse, she planned to give all the veterans a free show. In the end, she gets arrested and also finds out that Peter, too, has found himself on the wrong side of the law, meaning both husband and wife share a ride to the police station. In the episode, Go Stewie Go, we see Peter making fun of Lois's gray hair.
Lois, you have a gray hair.
What?
Inch and a half lefty apart.
Oh, my God, you're right.
You know, I don't mind so much that you're aging. It's just the way you're shoving it down my throat.
Screw you, Peter.
Not today. Oh, wow.
Yeah, screw you, Peter. That's a very mean thing to say to your wife. Meanwhile, Meg introduces her parents to her new boyfriend, Anthony, who casually compliments Lois.
Has anybody ever told you you're pretty enough to be a movie star, Mrs. Griffin?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't know about that.
I think Lois really enjoyed every bit of that, especially with Peter making fun of her looks every chance he gets. Lois and Peter then excuse themselves so Meg can have some privacy alone with her boyfriend. But minutes later, Lois walks in on them making out and decides to stay and watch. Huh.
Oh, my God, that's kind of hot. I bet you taste like Mountain Dew and Starburst.
Maybe Lois is enjoying herself a little too much. In a not-so-shocking twist, Lois confides in Bonnie that she's become attached to Meg's boyfriend Anthony, and Bonnie gives her some bad advice.
The point is, it's healthy to explore your sexuality.
I honestly don't think Peter would like his wife exploring her sexuality with another man. Lois, however, takes Bonnie's advice and tricks Meg into running an errand so she could spend some time alone with Anthony.
Anthony, you want to come with me?
Sure.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I'll keep him company till you get back.
Immediately after Meg leaves, Lois jumps on Anthony and starts making out with the boy, when Meg, who forgot her keys, walks in on the horrible sight.
Kiss me.
Mom, I forgot my keys. Do you know where...
Rape?
Like, seriously? Rape? Lois, I think you are the one molesting the kid. After what Meg just witnessed, it wouldn't be much of a surprise if Peter invites his lawyer over for a brief discussion. After all, his wife was caught molesting a teenager right inside of their home. At the close of Sunday Mass, Lois volunteers to help out in the upcoming bake sale.
You know, Lois, we also have a bake sale coming up, and we're short about 8 pies.
Well, I'll hit the grocery store this afternoon and get to work.
While grocery shopping, Lois sees the new local female TV reporter she has recently been raving about.
Oh, my God, look! It's Joyce Kinney from Channel 5!
With how excited she is, you will think she met an actual celebrity, not the type to miss out on an opportunity. Lois quickly introduces herself to the presenter.
Excuse me, Miss Kinney. I don't mean to bother you, but my name is Lois Griffin. I am a huge fan, and I just think you are doing a fantastic job.
The two instantly hit it off, with Joyce offering to give the starstruck Lois a tour of the TV station, an offer that Lois gladly accepts. Later that evening, Lois shows up at the station, where she gets to witness firsthand the news being read. As Joyce promised, after the news, she takes Lois on a tour around the station.
And here is our editor, Mike. They let him smoke inside because all the smoke from his cigarette just floats directly back up into his face. Hey, Joyce, when you get a chance, come take a look at the Weekabug thing.
Well, I must commend the station's management for such smart decision-making. At the end of the tour, Joyce has an interesting offer for her newest friend.
Look, if you want to grab a drink with me later tonight, I'd be happy to tell you some.
Oh my God, I would love to. Look at me, huh? Stepping out in the town with a big celebrity?
Easy there, Lois. A local TV newscaster isn't exactly a big celebrity. But Lois doesn't seem to care. She sure as hell is going to rub her latest achievement on everyone's face.
Sorry, I'm just painfully aware that I'm the only member of this family who's going out for drinks with a celebrity tonight.
With the way she's behaving, one would think she's been invited to the White House to have dinner with the president. So, Lois and her new friend Joyce meet up at the bar, where after a few drinks they begin sharing their deepest secrets. Now feeling tipsy, Lois shares a secret she probably should never have told anyone.
I have had an abortion.
Well, that's really personal, but that's still not the one I was referring to.
When I was in college, I was in an adult film.
Well, like I said, it's a secret she shouldn't be telling anyone, especially if someone she just met. Joyce, however, promises to take the secret to her grave after Lois pleads with her not to tell anyone about it.
I have never told anyone that, not even my husband.
The question now is, can Lois trust Joyce Kinney to keep her secret?
Local housewife and church organist Lois Griffin has revealed to this reporter that she appeared in a pornographic movie back in the early 1980s.
What?
Mom, that's you!
Not only did Joyce spill her secret, she told it to the entire Quahog. Well, in my view, that's probably a good reason for Peter to have a serious conversation with his wife.
Lois, you were in a porno?
She totally betrayed me. I thought girlfriends were supposed to support each other. Ha! Slut.
Now, guess who's the instant celebrity? Lois Griffin. In the episode Throw It Away, Lois forces an uninterested Peter to attend a talk show where she learns of an Asian decluttering technique. She even goes ahead to buy the book.
Peter, these are Asian techniques and they're new to me. I have to buy this book, read 2 chapters, then leave it on my nightstand for a year.
Now, back home, Lois goes on full military mode, enforcing her new technique on everyone.
So I want everyone to go through every single item you own, and if it doesn't kindle joy, throw it away. See? This sweater, it's okay, but it doesn't kindle joy. I'm throwing it out. Now get to it.
Having decluttered the entire house, Lois discovers that she still isn't feeling the true happiness promised in the book, so she decides to throw more stuff away. That's if Peter also counts as stuff.
Peter, I don't think I can have you in the house right now.
You're throwing me away?
Yes. I'm so sorry, Peter. I just feel like if you don't kindle joy, and that's what the book said.
Well, after what just happened, Peter has to go crash at Quagmire's place in the meantime.
Yeah, she'll be fine. And you won't even know I'm here. I mean, I need to keep up with my workouts. And I can't sleep unless I have Dunkirk on at full volume. Yeah, this'll be great.
Now, you wonder why Lois kicked him out of the house. Such a sweet, peaceful husband. With Peter gone, Lois switches her attention to the kids.
Hi, kids. Do you need those hats?
I mean...
It's the foundation of my look, but we can discuss it.
I feel like they're clutter. I feel like you don't need them. Let's just see what you look like without... Wow!
Oops. That's not what I was expecting. Meanwhile, Quagmire, having endured enough of Peter's nuisance, kicks him out of the house.
Everybody thinks they can kick me out? Well, who gets the last laugh now? I get to sleep with all my stuff in a storage unit on the highway access road.
Poor Peter. Well, Lois continues to take the decluttering technique to the extreme. She kicks everyone out of the house because they all do not kindle joy.
Shut up, Meg.
Well, I didn't say anything.
You just did. Your voice, it's cluttering up my space. Get out. But get out of my house.
She's not even done yet.
You know, Lois, one could argue that your bra is clutter.
Nice try, dirtbag. Leave.
Seems like Lois's quest for happiness has turned her into an angry bird. Not even Stewie can escape her wrath.
I cluttered my pants. It did not kindle joy.
Lois successfully declutters the entire house, but she's not one bit happier. In fact, she's in an even worse state.
But I did what the book said. I did it all. Why didn't it work? Why am I still not happy? What have I done?
I think you need to see a therapist. And Peter could also do with some time away from you. Lois takes the kids grocery shopping, and at the counter, she discovers that she's a little short on cash. But instead of returning some of the items like a good citizen would, she does something shocking.
Oh, no. I forgot to go to the bank. Well, I'm a little short. I'll have to put the ham back.
Wait a minute. Did she just put it in her purse? Looks like she did. Back at home, Brian suspects foul play, so she quickly lies to him.
Hey, is that ham? I thought you put that back.
Oh, no, I put the other ham back.
I don't remember another ham.
Well, you were too busy eyeballing that red book with Glenn Close on the cover.
Not so bad a lie, Lois. Not bad at all. Following the success of her first heist, Lois visits the boutique where she embarks on a shoplifting spree. Crazy how she got away with all those items without being caught.
Oh, my God, that was such a rush. I'm alive!
Having conquered the grocery store and the boutique, Lois's next stop is the auto parts store.
Brian, what are you doing here?
I should ask you the same question. Lois, you're in an auto parts store stealing mufflers.
Weird, right? Wonder what she plans to do with all those mufflers. Brian tries to talk her out of shoplifting, but Lois has no plans to drop her new bad habit. At least, not yet. Eventually, her heroics make it to the TV news, and Joe takes it upon himself to catch the notorious shoplifter.
Hold it right there, Lois. You're under arrest.
If you thought Lois was going to let him detain her so easily, then you are in for a shocker.
Oh, my God, I am so embarrassed. Let me just get my purse.
After a rather short but intense chase, Lois is arrested, arraigned in court, and sentenced to 3 years in prison, leaving Peter to fend for the kids all by himself. Well, that's what you get when your wife is a notorious shoplifter. With Lois's birthday approaching, Brian suggests that they throw her a surprise birthday party, and the entire family agrees to the plan.
You know, Peter, I know Lois is downplaying it, but I think she might actually appreciate it if we threw her a party. Maybe even a surprise party.
That's a great idea, Brian.
Weird that the dog actually cares about Lois more than her husband or kids. So, on her birthday, Lois walks into her surprise party. Peter, however, has something special planned for her. Only that this romantic gesture isn't exactly what she would have wanted.
You know, life has a way of changing things. What were once two firm, impressive mountain peaks have become a barren, strip-mined, muddy landslide that droops ever downward. What were once pink and succulent rose petals now take the form of the shredded, raggedy, blown-out end piece of a practical joker's exploding cigar.
Well, I can't exactly tell who wrote this crap for Peter, but one thing is for sure, Lois didn't like the speech.
Lois!
Mom? Jeez, what the hell's her problem?
Peter, she was already feeling insecure about her age, and then you went and gave her that horrible speech.
Brian seems to be the only person standing up for Lois in a house where she's grossly underappreciated. After the horrible showing that was supposed to be her surprise birthday party, Lois, who was hurt by her husband referring to her as old, decides to get a makeover. You know, reignite her youthful glow. The next morning, she shows up completely transformed.
Hi, sluts. OMG, stop staring at me, please. Hey, thanks.
Mom, are you okay?
Lois, what's going on?
What's going on, Peter? I got highlights, I went shopping, and I had my... So it's tighter now.
Just when you think you've seen it all, Lois decides to get a tattoo.
But look who just got herself a sick new tat. Oh my God, Mom!
With what we are witnessing, Brian might just be right.
Peter, I think Lois might be having a midlife crisis.
So while the kids wonder what is going on with their mom, Peter seems to be enjoying the transformation.
Well, Lois, I gotta say, I like this new you. I like it a lot.
But soon enough, Peter starts becoming tired of the whole adventure.
We're hitting another insane party across town.
What, you mean now?
Peter, you sound like an old fart. I thought you liked having a hot young wife.
Well, I did at first, but the novelty's worn off.
With Peter struggling to keep up with her new energy, Lois tosses him aside and goes to the Justin Bieber concert with the girls, where she sneaks backstage to seduce the young singer.
Okay, just get your pants off, hon.
Stop right there! Get away from her! Step away from my wife, you acorn penis beauty!
Now that was Lois taking the young forever thing a little too far, although I don't think Justin is to blame for what just happened. Peter and Lois go on a date at the newly opened restaurant, and just after placing their order, they get a little romantic.
Remember this, Peter. Remember us.
I do remember us. I miss us. When we get home, let's do it so loud the kids wake up.
Yeah, let's do it on the couch where we all gather as a family and watch television.
The next day, Lois hangs out with the girls as they gossip about what happened the night before. Trust her leaky mouth to spill it all out.
Now, about the sex, though, how do I put this? Let's just say Peter doesn't always Munchausen my proxy.
What do you mean?
Like, he doesn't always go to Australia. You know, the land down under.
Oh.
Glad to know I wasn't the only one lost. To help her friend out, Bonnie suggests that Lois and her husband go see a sex therapist. So, Lois takes Bonnie's advice and somehow manages to convince Peter to accompany her to the therapist. With Peter being too shy to talk about sex, the therapist suggests they try something different.
Listen, if he's too shy to talk about this, we could always try hypnosis.
Although he really doesn't understand what she's talking about, Peter is open to the idea. However, during the procedure, his phone rings, altering what was supposed to be his trigger phrase.
Peter, we are now in our suspended state. And from now on, whenever you hear the words,
Sorry, I get push notifications.
Rather than the sexy keyword the therapist intended to use, Peter's ringtone, which is a tune from the celebrity news, becomes his trigger phrase. Later that night, they try what they believe is the trigger phrase, but it all ends up in frustration until...
Corazon.
Guess Lois is on her way to Australia. But much to Lois's surprise, or should I say pleasure, Peter wakes up the next morning and has no idea what happened the night before. Now armed with a secret weapon, Lois decides to turn Peter into her personal sex toy.
I'm just gonna go ahead and save this song on my phone. Oh, before you go, can I just talk to you upstairs for 1 minute? I want to ask you something. Go fish!
Meanwhile, Lois's scheme backfires miserably when they have dinner at her parents' house. Turns out that her mom wasn't feeling too well, so she requested that Lois bring her meal upstairs. But since Peter is a good, loving husband, he opts to help her out. But while in her mother's room, the trigger comes on.
Wait, celebrity news? What time is it?
Just about 7:30. Why?
Oh my god, oh my god! Peter, no! Peter! Peter!
At this point, I'm not so sure who is to blame for that disaster, but hey, Lois has to take a fair share of the blame. Stewie walks in on his parents having sex and is immediately traumatized. Maybe he should learn how to knock before going in. Concerned about the effect of what he just witnessed on her baby, Lois tries to convince him it's not such a big deal.
Stewie, mommies and daddies like to hug each other that way. In fact, sweetie, that's sort of how you were created.
I don't think Stewie understood a word you just said. Or maybe he did. Meanwhile, Chris gets kicked out of the Boy Scouts and Peter isn't going to stand back and watch his son miss out on the privilege of being a scout.
I'm calling that damn troop leader right now. We're going over his head, straight to the U Scout head office in New York. Pack your bags, you guys. The Griffins are hitting the Big Apple.
All this for Chris to be a Boy Scout? It seems excessive in my view. It's not as if Chris is interested in being a scout, but since Peter is a loving father, he doesn't care what his son thinks. On their way to New York, Peter suffers from an upset stomach, which forces him to pull over at a casino so he can use the toilet.
Come on, you guys, no time to lose. Hold it. Hold it.
Hope he doesn't do the big one on his body. Ugh. With Peter in the toilet, Lois decides to spend some time trying her luck with the poker machine.
I didn't know you know how to play poker, Lois.
Yeah.
Well, how you doing?
Yeah.
That's good, honey. Let's go.
Looks like someone's already addicted to gambling. That was fast. Peter doesn't, however, know that his wife's gambling addiction would be the least of their concerns.
Jeez, I could swear I parked here.
Yeah, you did. But here's the really silly thing, Peter. I sort of bet our car.
Like, really, Lois? In just about 10 minutes? You got so hooked that you bet the family car? Now they are all stranded in the middle of nowhere, with no car and no cash. Plus, Chris is going to miss out on the opportunity of becoming a Boy Scout. Lois has some serious questions to answer. In Brian Sings and Swings, we begin with Peter leaving for work, but not without giving his wife instructions.
See you, Lois. Oh, and like I tell you every day, if I come back in the middle of the afternoon and you're having sex with somebody, I'll kill you both.
It's good to know that Peter trusts his wife. Meanwhile, Meg makes a new friend in school after years of being an outcast.
You want to be my lab partner?
Really?
Sure, you seem nice. Hey, do you want to join my after-school club?
Sure!
What Meg doesn't realize is that Sarah isn't your regular female friend.
All those years of you rejecting me finally make sense.
What do you mean?
Oh my God!
Meg shows up at the club hoping to tell them she's no longer interested in being a member, but she learns that they were already planning a welcoming party for her, so she changes her mind.
Really? A party? For me?
But I guess if you're not a lesbian...
Wait! You didn't let me finish. I'm not a lesbian. I'm a super huge mega lesbian.
I don't know if that's a thing, but it looks to me like Meg's super huge mega cheap. Now completely sold out with the idea of being a member of the lesbian club, Meg opens up to her family.
It's me, you guys, and I have something to tell you all. Mom, Dad, I am a lesbian.
Peter could care less what side Meg swings in, but Lois doesn't believe Meg is actually a lesbian. She thinks Meg is just desperate to fit in.
Oh, Meg, I think you're just trying to fit in by pretending to be something you're not.
To prove that she is indeed a lesbian, Meg invites Sarah over to the house. But still, that's not enough to convince Lois.
I am a lesbian. What do I have to do to prove this to you?
Well, maybe if I'd seen you kiss your girlfriend.
Fine.
Wow. Lois is an exemplary parent.
What was that? What, is she your grandmother? That's no kiss. Watch this.
Like, seriously, Lois, did you really have to do that? I'm sure Peter wouldn't be happy to learn that his wife is making out with his daughter's girlfriend. Even Meg looks disgusted. That's gross. It feels like Lois has a thing for snatching Meg's love interest, be it a boy or girl. She doesn't care. Like I said, she is an exemplary parent. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed watching Lois and Peter washing their dirty laundry in public. Regardless of everything that just happened, their marriage remains. Kindly like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. See you soon.